how to start your Monday morning. Start the fire, boil the water, grind the coffee, add filter, coffee in the filter, water into filter, watch it drip, more water, watch it drip some more, fill your cup, raise your cup, and no. Leave the house and leave it up to the professionals to make the coffee. I'll stick to the conversations. Welcome to Caffeinated Conversations with Brooke Allen.
Hey, good morning. Welcome to Caffeinated Conversations. This is episode 89. We are almost 100. I am super excited about that, of course. Coming off of the After Dark show, that was amazing. Thank you to everyone who showed up and came out and talked about relationships, the good, the bad, the sketchy. So again, we will be looking forward to our next After Dark, of course. Stay tuned for those announcements. But in the meantime, we actually have another show coming up. That one will be at Alchemy, August 10th for Bubbles and Brunch with Brooke. So join us for that one. That Alchemy, of course, is in Royal Oak, right next door to Every Media, which is where we are right now. So thank you so much for joining us. Okay, someone is going to look familiar to you. Renee Beeker is here. She was on the show last week, but we're changing topics today because it is so interesting to me how we came to be. So we will get to that in just a minute. And of course, Kristina Graham is here. And Kristina, you are a certified financial planner from Edward Jones Lynch Graham Wealth Management. And you are here on behalf of On the Wings of Angels, which we had JoJo on last week, of course. And of course, this will be a little bit of a different show. I only have 2 guests because the topics are intense. So we are going to dive in. So Renee, I had said last week that you were my cousin. Okay. But that was not always the case.
Correct.
Because you are, okay, so a couple years ago, it was
several,
but it was all the rage, right? For gifts, birthday gifts, Christmas gifts, people were getting the DNA kits, the 23andMe, Ancestry.com, or what?
Ancestry.
Yeah. So it's amazing the statistics that come with this, because I was doing some research, and you will not be surprised by this, but 61% of people who have done these kits get a surprise. They get something that they're not really, they're just not expecting, whether you're related to J.D. Vance. I think that has happened, according to my kids may be related distantly to J.D. Vance. We'll talk about that later. But Renee, you took 2 of these kits.
Yes. I have a cousin, or I thought was my blood cousin, and she wanted to do a little history of the family. And so we both did Ancestry. And when it came back, I had no DNA connected to her. So we thought initially this was a mistake. And so we went and did 23andMe. And that came back that we had no connection. So then I said, I went to my sister, who I grew up with, and said, will you do a DNA test with me? And I think the real shocker, or what shook my world, was when I read the results that said half sister. And then I realized that I wasn't the child of the man that I grew up with my whole life. And I will tell you, that was very traumatizing for me, because I wanted to know who am I?
Yeah.
I mean, who am I? And I started doing all kinds of research. I literally stayed up all night researching my mother, and found out that my mother had been in a children's village, if you will, at 15, because she wasn't in their data when they did, what do they call it? When they go around the homes and
census?
Census. She wasn't in the census. So anyway, I just flipped out, and my husband, I went to him and said, I need to know who I am. And so we hired an Ancestry researcher.
Okay.
And they, I think within about 2 or 3 months, they came back and said, you're one of 2 men's daughter. Family of 4 men from Kentucky came up from there to work in the factories here in Michigan. And they were certain I wasn't a child of 2, but there was questions about these other 2 men. And they said, you're going to have to write the children. Each one has a child. One has a male child, one has a female child. So I wrote basically a resume, because I didn't want them to think that I wanted something or that I was after anything.
Right.
And I got a cease and desist letter from who was my male cousin. Turned out to be a male cousin, not a sibling.
Okay.
And then I didn't hear from the individual who is now she's my half sister.
Mm-hmm.
So I found a sister, but I didn't hear from her. So, but my lovely cousins, I found one cousin's wife online and went to her and called her or texted her to say, I think your your husband's my cousin. And her response was, I love a good mystery. That's what she said.
I think I know who that is.
And so she said, and I couldn't get a hold of my other cousin, Terry.
Mm-hmm.
And even though I had sent notice and everything through Ancestry, ultimately they got a hold of me and we all met for dinner. And I never felt so loved or cared for. And these people and you'll find when people do DNA, usually the cousins will just come flocking in. And they met me for dinner and they encouraged me to write another letter to who wound up being my sister, my half sister. And so I did, but I waited a couple weeks, but we had a great time. They brought me a picture of all my aunts and uncles and just were so loving. And I have to say, not everyone gets this lucky. So many people go through DNA and they're ignored or we don't want you around, kind of like the cease and desist.
They think you want something.
Maybe.
Right?
Yeah. Or fear of what my family, did my family do that? Did my father do that or whatever? I think Terry, my cousin Terry, made a cute note. She's like, I think it was after we all met for dinner, she went online and said, when you spit in that vial, you never know what's going to come out of it. I don't know if it's exactly what, but it's close to what she said. And it was so cute. But that was in 2019, but I knew I wasn't who I thought I was in 2017. So it really took a while for me to get.
It was before COVID or?
Oh, it was before COVID.
It was before COVID. So talk a little bit about the whole idea of not knowing who you are.
Oh.
And the response. So did it actually say on the testing half sister?
For my sister, yes.
Okay.
It did.
Okay.
And the one I grew up with,
right.
Yes, half sister. And that sort of, it makes you unstable. I mean, you sort of the floor that you've grown up on suddenly shakes a bit. And the not knowing who you are it's not so much, I mean, look, I went through a very traumatizing childhood. I mean, clearly this man must have realized I wasn't his child. And there were people that came to the home to visit us that said, where'd she come from? The milkman? I mean, people actually said that to me as a child. And
you didn't look like them?
I do not look like the man I grew up with. I do not look at all like my sister I grew up with. I met my new family and recognized that we have similarities. We look more alike than not.
Right.
And, to meet a family and see how you fit, that you look like them, in a lot of ways, think like them.
Drink like them.
Drink like them.
I can say that.
I'm just saying that can do a lot for, to heal you.
Right.
To heal you from, a life of hearing, I wouldn't be here if it weren't for that damn kid. I heard that growing up my whole life.
So when you heard that, were you like, what are they talking about?
Well, I was just a child and I just, my parents were at each other and I knew there was a problem clearly with their marriage, but it wasn't me. But I can tell you the extent of it is that I was actually strangled. I went to a hospital. I still carry a scar. And when I went to the hospital, the doctor said, who did this to you? And I said, my dad. Not a thing happened. And that was in 1971.
Really?
Yeah. So nobody cared about what was happening. But this is what I heard my whole life. And when we were talking last week with the JoJo, about trauma and about abuse, I mean, that abuse affected me my entire life. And I didn't realize how bad it was until I started working with a therapist in what you call analysis 4 or 5 years ago. Who helped me to understand it was that bad. Because I always thought everybody else had it worse,
right. So let me ask you this. So the dad you grew up with and your mom, were they gone?
Oh,
at
they're
this-
they're gone. Everybody's gone.
So you didn't have
I
anyone
didn't
ask
have
any
anybody to
questions?
yell at. Nobody
Okay,
to
nobody
say.
to answer, to say, sit down, we need to talk about
Yeah,
this.
but I will say to you, when I was about 18, I did say, because he had done some damage in the home and made some more statements, and I said, "Is he even my dad?"
Really?
I said that directly to her, and she started to cry. And being the person I am, I didn't pursue it. I felt bad that I had hurt her.
Mm-hmm.
And, there's a very strong possibility she might not have known. I mean, truly.
Right.
She dated these two men. He worked, the man that wound up being the man that produced me, actually worked in the same factory as her. And then the man she married worked in the Pontiac Motors. So he worked in a different factory. So she might not have known. But irregardless, I think years of me being the brunt of the abuse in the household.
He must have known.
I think he had an inkling. Although I will say his dying, the week before he died, he did say, "I don't deserve a daughter like you."
Oh.
So it's hard to know if he didn't feel bad or, you can't know. I mean, this is just, you sort of go with your gut, what you think.
Mm-hmm.
I think he maybe had an inkling, and I was the brunt of that, just the reality of it.
Right. So getting, now being an adult and getting through this and now having the results for, so I will tell you from my perspective, right? Because you're Greg's cousin.
Yes.
And I'll never forget him saying, "Hey, someone reached out to me and said that, Terry and we're all talking and saying that we have this cousin." And I'm like, "That's fun." I'm an only child. I love cousins.
Yeah.
So the whole idea of, but it isn't always that reception.
Oh, no. I mean, I was on a DNA group on Facebook, and you can see stories of people who are heartbroken or traumatized by the fact that a parent that produced them didn't even want to meet them or their grandchildren. So not every story winds up to be this. I feel that what happened to me is wonderful,
Right.
except for the one cousin who, sent not a very nice letter through his lawyer.
Have you guys ever connected?
And cease and desist means I'm never.
Yeah, I know. I just wondered if there was a change of
never
heart.
never even attempt.
Okay.
I think he did that out of fear that he couldn't believe maybe his dad would have done something like that or whatever. But, and that's understandable. We don't have to be quite so crazy about it, but anyway, that's fine. It is what it is, and I feel very comfortable with everyone. I can remember Greg asking me, "What do I want out of this?" And I
Really?
just said family. I just want to have the community of family, and I hope that I think he understands that.
Oh,
I mean,
for
we've
sure.
all been together many, many times, and I'm sure we will for many, many more.
Yeah.
And it's really a blessing, honestly.
Thank you for sharing that. I mean, I think it's just amazing. And the whole idea of growing up and not, thinking one thing and then finding out another is super traumatizing.
Yeah, especially in your 60s.
Right.
Yeah.
So you've done a great job and we love you.
Thank you.
So thank you. So, okay. So I'm going to cut over to Kristina. So Kristina, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah.
And what's interesting about you is that you are a certified financial planner, but you do gear your business, or your clients are mostly women, right?
Yeah, so I don't necessarily gear it that way, but it sort of has been what has presented itself, which has been awesome, and really exciting. And I mean, I'm here for it. So
Right?
yeah.
So hearing Renee's story,
Yeah.
I mean, when people are talking about, I think we all know this, right? When there's money involved, when there is questions of biology or who your family is, even with financial planners, that comes into play because it's always like, okay, we have to set this in stone. And money is a sore subject with people.
Yeah, and even families who seem to be, what is a normal family, right? Like
There is not.
There's not. But even the ones that don't have things like that happen, somebody passes away and maybe didn't have all their affairs in order, or maybe there's multiple siblings, and then next thing you know, we are seeing some clause come out about, well, I want this or I want that, and it can get really sticky because money is a huge thing.
Have you ever had anything like this happen with you?
With-
As far as having clients who've said, "Listen, I just have the siblings show up and now I don't know what to do."
I haven't had that. I actually found out I had a sibling when I was 8 that I was confused about and thought was my dad, and I went through a whole thing with that.
Really?
Yeah, and this was not during like a 23andMe thing, but so I can relate a little bit to that portion, but not so much that in our practice that I've seen where there's been a new person pop up, but maybe if somebody passes and disinherited somebody else or something like that on
Right.
occasion that happens, but not, I haven't yet had anything
Okay.
where there's been like a new person that shows up and
And shocks everybody.
and shocks everybody.
Yeah. Right?
And is JD Vance's cousin or something like that.
Exactly. I know, right? Who knew?
So nothing like that up to this point, but you never know.
You never know. Okay, so you are here actually on behalf of On the Wings of Angels, and JoJo, Renee mentioned her.
Mm-hmm.
She was here last week,
Yeah.
and of course, a fundraiser coming up, and you guys are the sponsor.
Yes,
right?
yes.
And so, tell me why you're called to be involved in On the Wings of Angels.
Yeah. So I think that it was almost like the universe telling me that's what was needing to happen. It was a few months ago, and as I mentioned, I do tend to work with a lot of females. I work with a lot of couples and stuff too, but I think that women who are either suddenly single through death or divorce, or who are just, a lot of people generationally now who are younger, the female in like a heterosexual relationship, a lot of them are driving the bus on scheduling appointments, on doing investing, doing planning, things like that. They're like the CFO of their household, I would say. So I met with one particular woman, and she had shared with me, it's great that I just feel comfortable talking to you, asking questions, and you really need to get involved with this organization. It's called On the Wings of Angels. They do wonderful work with women who have been survivors of domestic and sexual abuse. And I'm like, oh, that's really interesting. And they had a big event that weekend. And so I made a note on my desk, and I thought I'll come back to that. I'm not going to reach out to them when they're, having this big event. And then my business partner, Ed Lynch, we work in the same office together. He was at an event, and he came to me and said, hey, I just met this woman, and she was so energetic and passionate about what she was doing, and I told her that you and I would personally sponsor their movie event, and I was like, what? And he said, and it was a woman named JoJo, and it's On the Wings of Angels. And I'm like, wait a minute. I was like, I'm supposed to talk to, not in like a bad way, because we share,
for sure.
But I'm just like, how is that a thing? And I didn't know this, but JoJo's husband, Paul, also works at the same company that Ed and I do, at Edward Jones. And so I had met Paul like in between this at like a educational happy hour. So it was just one of those things where it's like, okay, I need to meet JoJo, need to learn more about this. And so since then I've spent some time with her, getting to know what On the Wings of Angels does and how they help their survivors, and really excited to be a part of really
You need more coffee.
Yes. Really excited to be involved with the event and part of the cause, and I think it's great. So we're excited.
Okay, so the movie that's showing is Alice Darling.
Yes.
Okay, and that's with Anna Kendrick, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, from Pitch Perfect.
Yes. Okay, so what is the premise of this movie?
So I haven't seen the movie yet.
Okay.
I'm waiting to see it, but I know some of the associates in my office have seen it, and it's basically about a woman, from my understanding, who is part of more of like a psychological abuse situation, more so than a physical abuse. And it just outlines how that can manifest itself in different ways. And so just trying to bring more awareness to the cause and make sure people know about what On the Wings of Angels does. So yeah.
And that event is August 25th, right?
Yes.
Okay, at the Rochester
Emagine.
Emagine?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what's interesting is last week we talked to JoJo, and we do mention physical abuse a lot, right?
Yeah.
But psychological abuse is right up there.
Oh yeah.
Right? I mean, and it, I think sometimes could even be worse.
I'm sorry.
Okay. No, that's okay.
I'm so sorry.
You're
It
okay?
just, woo,
You can never.
Take your water.
I drank it.
Do
But
you need
there's
another
a
one?
bug in there.
I know. It goes in.
And once it starts, you can't stop
No.
it.
Yeah, we record, so you don't have
Yeah.
to talk through it.
Exactly.
I'm
You're
so
okay.
sorry.
No, it's okay.
You're
It's all
fine.
right. Where do you want to take it back from? Or
Wherever y'all was getting ready to start talking.
okay.
Coercive control.
Yes. Are you okay?
Mm-hmm.
You want another water?
Sure.
Can we get her another water?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm so sorry. I don't know
No,
where
you're
that
fine.
came
It's called being a human.
from.
Yeah.
Man, it just,
Talking about family is choking.
yes,
That's
for sure,
true.
for sure.
Could be the body's reaction.
Yeah.
Maybe.
right?
Yeah.
Mhm. Okay, let me know when you're ready.
No, you let me.
Okay.
No.
I
Hold on, I
think
want to
I'm
make sure
fine.
she's okay.
I'm okay.
Are you sure?
Yeah. She mentioned psychological abuse, and the word today, and I didn't mention it even last week, was coercive control. Coercive control is psychological. It is it's a horrific form of abuse. One of my favorite researchers is in England, and she actually researches coercive control in the murders. I mean, she has it down to a science where she can tell you what stage you're in.
Really?
Yeah.
Ooh.
And trying to remember her name to save my soul. I can't at the moment, but I
So
can
when you
text
say
it to you.
stage, what do you?
She does stage 1 through 8 to say where a woman is in terms of danger.
Oh.
You can spend 30 years with a person, they never touch you.
Mhm.
But this coercive controlling gets to be so bad they might not have access to their money, might not be able to go anywhere, work, whatever.
It's
But
all about isolating, right?
totally, and controlling their autonomy. But most of this stuff winds up in a murder, and they've never touched you, but you're dead. And I wish I could remember her name. She's a former prosecutor in England. Wonderful, smart woman, and I cannot remember her name. I've even interviewed her, but I'll make sure you get that data.
Awesome. Thank you. No.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So
Just look up 8 stages of domestic violence or 8 stages of murder. You'll
okay,
find her.
and that will come up. Okay. So for you, Kristina, this, I mean, so a certified financial planner, and this, I mean, this is a heavy topic.
Yeah.
So for you personally, I know you said you haven't seen the movie yet.
No.
But your idea of supporting women and hearing JoJo's name repeatedly is saying,
Yeah.
like, the universe is talking to me.
Yes.
What's happening, right?
Yeah.
So for you as a woman, how does this make you feel?
Well, that's a loaded question.
I
mean,
try.
there's a lot of facets in how it makes me feel. I feel like I have a responsibility as somebody who is in a industry where there's not as many women, I mean, more and more women are becoming financial advisors and working in this area. But that was one of the reasons why I wanted to do it, was because there wasn't that many.
I was just going to ask you.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that's why.
Yeah, that was
Okay.
a part of it. I mean, I did have an experience with my mom when I was younger where she made me meet with an advisor to learn more about investing and made me do that at a younger age, which was a really good idea. And I plan on doing that
Yes.
with my own kids. But I mean, it makes me feel really excited when I'm able to help people achieve their goals. And that sounds really corny, but sometimes it's somebody who recently went through a divorce, and the divorce might have not have even been bad. It might have been completely amicable and friendly, but they now are taking control of their finances. They need to understand what they received in that divorce. I'm finding a big area of opportunity in that arena where it's like they get a spreadsheet and it's like, this is what you're getting, but it's like, what does this even mean? Or how can I use this? And so
And when can you use
when,
it,
yeah,
right?
because
When
there's all
is a
these
big
rules
word, right? Yes.
associated and IRS regulations and such. So I think that it makes me feel very fortunate and empowered to have the opportunity and the ability to be a resource for women at any sort of stage that they might be at. But I think that when it comes to the movie and On the Wings of Angels, I was talking to JoJo a couple weeks ago, and I was saying, I just heard this report on the news, and I was half listening. Of course, I was getting myself ready and my kids to get out the door, and it was like, oh, violent crime is down, and they were going through all these categories of violent crime. But then they got to domestic abuse, and that was not down; it was up. And I was like, wait a minute, like, why is the headline that it's down then? Because it's not, right?
The lead is wrong.
Right. And so I think that was just even more so like, this is still happening and it's a problem. And I think that it's important for people to know what resources are available to them at any stage in the process that they're in.
I could have used financial help
Right.
when I went through my divorce. I didn't get my quadro
yes.
for 15 years they held it that long. That's criminal. I
Yeah.
mean, it should never have happened.
No.
But it did nonetheless.
Yeah.
And the researcher, Jane Mockton Smith, you should look up
Okay.
Jane Mockton Smith. She's brilliant and can teach you all about the stages. It's horrific. Actually, she told me I was in stage 5.
Out of 8?
Uh-huh.
Really?
I didn't believe it, but based on what I told her, she said it was stage 5.
That is unbelievable. Well, we're glad.
Well,
Right?
yeah, there were threats, but I'm here.
Right. So go back. So, okay, you just mentioned quadro. That's a buzzword.
Mhm.
People may not know what that is, but
Yeah.
for a woman going through divorce or having been through it or getting ready to go through it,
Yeah.
that is a buzzword.
Yeah. So it's an abbreviation for Qualified Domestic Relations Order.
Mhm.
And essentially, if you're going to get part of your spouse's like retirement plan, it has to go through a process which they, call a quadro, basically telling, hey, this was supposed to go to Mr. A portion of it now is going to go to Mrs. And it has to be done through a certain avenue. So that's one way that assets can get split. But a lot of times, like, if you're not really sure what you're getting, it might be, okay, great, I'm getting, $500,000 is an example. But if that's, qualified money or retirement money and categorized a certain way or tied up in an annuity or some of these other things, you might not be able to just grab that and go buy a house. I mean, there's certain considerations to make with all of these things, but to your point, a quadro is usually something that they have to go through in order to get part of the employer's assets if they have a plan.
And to just be fair, normally those kinds of things are done relatively quickly. Every time we went in court to have it entered, the other side prevented it. So we don't know why, but it was, like I said, I do this court thing because there are a lot of problems in the court. This is just an example of what women can go through, and nobody should. And you shouldn't have your retirement portion kept from you for 15 years.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
So for women going through abuse, and you had mentioned, not only are we talking to you about finding your new family, but you are a survivor of domestic violence, right? So the whole idea of finances being one area where women just are kind of, and not every woman, but it may be something that the husband or the man has always handled. And so then they're thrown into the situation. And if they are leaving as in a hurry, right, and for their life, finances may not be something that they're thinking about.
No. And yeah, I mean, you could probably speak.
Well, I tell women today, make sure you put money aside. You should always have an escape plan. I hate to say that if you're in a relationship, the reality is you need to be thinking about what could happen if something does happen. And you need to have money put away in case you do need to go. And lawyers want $10,000 or more, as an upfront fee. You can't even get away from somebody because you don't have the money to get away.
Right.
So it's really, really critical. And I tell my daughters that too. You need to have money aside, and you should, and I've not worked. I was a homemaker. Oh, that was a mistake. And I tell my girls, work and put money away. And I tell all women that, that's what you need to do. You need to protect yourself by having some finance. When I got divorced, I had some money, but it would have been better if I'd had some financial support with somebody who knew what to do. And, it just would have been better.
Well, and somebody you can trust.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Because in that situation, you're not very trusting because you don't have any reason to be. But money is a huge issue.
Yeah.
Right? So
And even in relationships where there might not be domestic abuse, statistically, if you have a heterosexual couple and they're about the same age, statistically, the man is going to go before the woman. So it's also just important to me for financial literacy for women in general, because the likelihood that the missus is going to outlive the mister, and then she has to then, let's just say he passes away in his sleep at 80. She might not have known what they had or what the strategy was, or, if he had life insurance, or she might not. And so we don't want to be having these conversations when it's like too late. You don't want your mom or your grandma or, any woman having to start from Finance 101 in her 80s to try to figure out, you don't want that first call to be, hey, the mister died. Do I have to move? I mean, these are just, it's so important for women in general to just be in the know about what's going on. And not that we can't trust, the spouse. I mean, sure, sometimes you can't.
Yeah, that's right.
But ultimately, you just don't want to be taking that on and trying to figure it out at a time where you're supposed to be grieving and doing these other things.
Well, I was just going to say, so grief, so when you're trying to navigate all of that in the middle of being shocked and grieving and, it's so tough.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So to have, and it's hard, right? It's like, oh, well, what's your budget? Let's start with the budget. Let's not.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's skip that part.
Yeah.
But it's all things that so you're not caught off guard.
Yeah.
No matter the situation.
Yes, you need to be prepared. And I think young women today are working and they're more self-reliant. But I also feel that your service, you could go into high schools and do some courses on the importance of financial planning. And I love students to begin with. They're so handy. But I'm just saying, young women need more of this.
Yes.
And that kind of support would be great. It's just an idea I popped up with.
Yeah.
We love that. Okay, let's start it.
Another idea.
Let's do it. Yeah. Okay, so On the Wings of Angels, Alice Darling is showing August 25th.
Yes.
Okay, you are the sponsor of that event.
Yep.
And what can people expect from that evening?
Well, I mean, they're obviously going to be supporting a great cause and all of the things that On the Wings of Angels does for survivors. And so that'll be good. It's also, I've heard from the people in my office who have watched the movie, it's super chilly and creepy. So I think it's going to be a great show. And then, you get a ticket, you can bring somebody and have a night out and go to the Emagine Theater. You get popcorn and certain things there. But I mean, ultimately the biggest point of it is just bringing awareness to hey, this is still happening. And I had asked JoJo, when do you guys step in? At what point are you jumping in and what are you doing? And she was sharing with me, well, some people need spatulas to make eggs and other people need, a vehicle and some people need a job. And so if it, this impacts so many people and a lot of folks that we might not even know about in our everyday life. And so I think just bringing awareness and if you come, you're supporting a good cause that meets women where they're at in their journey to get out of their situation. And so it'll be a fun night.
How do people get tickets? I'm a board member. I should know this.
And I'm a sponsor, and I should also know this. No, I believe you can get tickets from onthewingsofangels.com. So there should be a place under their event section on the website that you can get tickets for it.
It might be .org.
.org. Yeah, sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. Oh, no, thank you. I can't wait to have popcorn with you. That will be fun, right?
Good,
and Renee.
yes.
Okay, so I want to go back to you and to what we originally started talking about. So when you find out something that you may not, some shocking statistic, well, not even a statistic, it's DNA. So, right? If somebody were just getting ready to open that email with those results and they find something in there that may shock them like you were shocked, what would you tell them?
Breathe, number one. I understand the fear of rejection.
Oh.
I think that I had fear of rejection and that here's a whole family I found and, would they accept me? Because I had been on a DNA group that had so many stories of people not being accepted or not invited in. And, they've taken my whole family. I mean, the Bowmans have taken our whole family, my children, and we love all of their families, your kids.
I was going to say, my kids love you guys.
So, I mean, it has been a blessing, but yes, it can be frightening. There can be fear of rejection. There can be fear of, who are you and where do you fit in the world? That kind of thing. It's startling, but you can get through it. And I just feel I got through it easier because I was accepted.
How do you feel now?
I feel wonderful. My husband will go on about what a great family we have.
We love that. We love that so much. Okay.
And we did have a big party.
Yes.
We had a big party in August of 2019 after we all had conversed and met and all that. And I got a giant cake, and it said, "We are family."
Yes.
It was
It was
fun.
awesome.
It was fun.
That was a good cake. That was a good cake. Okay, Kristina,
Yeah.
if you were to meet your younger self for coffee, what would you tell her?
Oh, I would tell her to be bold and trust your decisions. So I think my younger self, I'm thinking like early 20s is where I'm picturing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that it's just important, you're trying to make your way in the world and you have all these other opinions and people who have their own thoughts about what you should and shouldn't be doing. And I think just trusting what your feelings are and being bold with your decisions, that's the time to do it if you're going to. So that's what I would tell myself.
Excellent. And Renee, we've had this conversation many times, whether it be coffee or be relatable, right?
Yeah.
But in the grand scheme of things, how many daughters do you have?
I have 3 daughters and I have 3 sons. And then I have another son. My husband has a son from his first marriage.
Okay.
So, but I have 3 and 3
Right.
that I birthed.
Right. And if you were to tell, what is the one thing you want them to know? Boys, girls, whatever, that, you know what I mean, across the board. What would you want them to know?
Oh boy. About what? Know about what?
Life.
Oh. Well, number 1, be true to yourself. That they need to be passionate for themselves. What drives you?
Mhm.
If they don't do what they love, then they're never going to be happy. So yeah, to follow your own passion, your own desire. Don't do something for me. Don't do something for dad. Don't do something because you heard this is cool. Follow your own heart, your own path, your own passions.
Do you think that that's something that we know? At what age do we actually get that, do you think?
I think I'm still growing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm learning more and more every day. I'm very passionate about what I do, but there are other things that, roll into it. So, yeah, I'm never going to stop learning. So I just think that we have to continue to learn, grow, and do what we can to support our family and society.
Thank you so much. Kristina, I know one subject that, so we talked about, knowing your finances. We talked about having a plan, but also, one thing is a topic that people don't want to talk about either is like kind of life insurance.
Oh yeah,
right?
Nobody wants to talk
nobody
about
wants
that.
to talk about that, which is so bizarre to me.
Yeah.
But Lynn Sterla, she's with the Farm Bureau Insurance. She's great at explaining it, and we'll do the rundown right now. Let's watch. So here's a question most of us avoid. What would happen to your family if you weren't here tomorrow? Well, Lynn Sterla with Michigan Farm Bureau Insurance can help you create a simple yet affordable life insurance plan to protect what matters most to you. So whether you're planning for your kids, your partner, even your future self, she can help you build a plan that fits your goals and your budget. So don't wait for that wake-up call. Give her a call today and give your family the peace of mind they deserve. Call her office at 734-927-6143, or you can even message her directly at 248-880-8782. She helped my family, let her help yours. And again, of course, you can reach out to Lynn anytime. She even will help you download their app. She's amazing, so check her out. Okay, Kristina, so back to the movie event happening August 25th. Kind of a big deal because the women, maybe, I don't know if I can say this, JoJo might kill me. Anna Kendrick was in the film, right? She was in the film, yes. She stars in it.
Yes.
But Babe Nation Films, some of those women are coming in for this event, and there'll be a panel afterward.
Yeah, JoJo is incredible with coordinating all of this. I don't know how she does that, but ultimately there is going to be a panel. She's flying people in from I think all over the world, honestly, the directors and producers to be able to have these conversations and talk more afterwards. So that's another thing that the folks are going to be getting to, along with being able to see the film and hang out there, is an opportunity to hear from these people. And it's pretty special because you don't get that every time you go to Emagine Theater. So we're excited about that. Yeah. Yes.
It's exciting.
But you get popcorn.
Yeah, you do.
We all love popcorn.
Yeah.
And the pretzel sometimes. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, with regard to finances, I have a disabled son. So we had to set up for that child.
Yeah.
because someday I'll be gone. And I think a lot of people don't until they're have this kind of thing in front of them, they don't know. So I don't know how much work you do in that area, but I'm sure you do.
Yeah. It's all depends on the people. So I mentioned I really seem to specialize in suddenly single, but I work with a lot of young families, and I lost my parents 2 years ago. And they didn't necessarily, my mom specifically, they were divorced, but didn't have some of her, boxes checked because she was younger. And so now I'm trying to check those boxes in my house. Like, I think there's a lot of misconceptions that you have to be like a multimillionaire in order to need a trust or to need some of these.
Or even a certified financial planner,
Yes,
right?
right. And it's like, that's not the case. I mean, most people have some need for a lot of planning. And so whether it's because you have a disabled child and different considerations there, or who's going to take care of your young children, or if something happens to you. One of the things that my business partner, Ed, helps with a lot and really specializes in is folks who have been just good savers and good stewards of their money, and then they have money to give away. And what is the most effective way to do that? Do you gift it during your lifetime? Do you do charity? And do you leave some of it to charity? And so he really does a great job with getting to know clients and finding out what speaks to them the most, so that they can feel like, okay, I've done this and now we have something in place. And
That's great.
People need different things, to your point. So
And you wanted, so if you believe in an organization like On the Wings of Angels, and if you should suddenly pass, and you want that to that support to continue, right? So that is something that you should have you should think about. But a lot of people don't.
Right. And we're able to do, there's such great things with technology now where we can do projections to show, if you pass away at the age of 90, and if you spend money like this, you might have a chunk that you didn't really anticipate, or we can run scenarios for different things. And it does get that conversation going, like, where do you want this to go? And it doesn't mean that these people are, driving Maseratis today and doing this sort of thing. But, if you're a good saver, you can accumulate something that's pretty, important, whether it be for your children or for an organization, and how to best do that. So
I would like a red Maserati, please.
yeah, well, we'll sign you up. We'll go find you one.
Yeah.
All right. Listen, thank you, Renee. Thank you so much. I know, so years ago, I interviewed you when I was still with WWJ, and all that audio, it was during a time when all of our audio got wiped out.
Oh.
And it was so upsetting because it was actually before this started making headlines, and before people started actually talking about the repercussions if you do these tests. Yeah. Right? So I was so bummed. So I feel like I've made good on this.
I think so.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
No, thank you, Renee. And Kristina, how can people find you? I mean, if they need a certified financial planner.
Yep. So our office is in Rochester, and you can go to the Edward Jones website and look for Ed Lynch or Kristina Graham, and we're on there together. I work in an office with two other financial advisors as well, and they're great too. So I just encourage people to find somebody you're comfortable with and have an initial conversation. It's kind of like dating, if it feels good, you can continue to meet. If not, find another one. And just, find somebody that you're comfortable talking to. But we're in Rochester, and you can look us up online.
I'm sorry, I'm still laughing about that.
No, you're good. Well, that's fine.
Do you have something?
Certainly. The National Family Court Watch Project is my nonprofit. And you can find me or email me at director at the National Family Court Watch Project, NCFWP.
Yes.
.org or .com. .org.
.org.
We're on
all
.org
nonprofits
today.
Are
We're on
.org. Yep, that's the deal.
Yeah.
So, and in fact, if you want to know more about what Renee is talking about, she was on last week with JoJo, actually. That was episode 88, so you can check that out at helloimbrooke.com. And see you on August 25th.
Yes.
Okay, that's coming up. And want to share popcorn?
Oh, maybe we should do that.
Yeah. Okay, Brian?
We should take the family, and we should all do that.
All the family.
All the family.
All the family. All right, ladies.
Bring the cake.
Yes, bring the
We
yes,
are family.
We are
Oh,
family.
we are family. Yeah. It was such a cool day. It was
was.
such a cool day to meet everybody and
It
have
was
us all
awesome.
together. Yes.
That was so awesome. Thank you guys, both of you, so much.
Thank you.
And have a good day. Have a good week. I'll see you both soon. And in the meantime, keep the coffee hot. We'll see you next week. Don't forget the brunch at Alchemy coming up August 10th. See you soon. Bye-bye. Thanks.